That's weird.
It's like one of the biggest problems with the dating. What's like one of the biggest problems with the dating scene?
Men. Literally, she took the words out of men.
So let's watch my video.
It's like one of the biggest problems with the dating scene.
Men. Literally, she took the words out.
This might be one of my hotter takes, but I'll try to still get there as logically as I can. I disagree with this 100%. I would say it's actually the opposite that's true. I'm blaming women. Not all women, but women. Now, obviously, clearly, I'm not saying all women. I would never blame all women. But here's how I think about it. In the last, let's say 60 years, who has changed? What has changed? In the last 60 years, so second wave of feminism essentially, made it so that they could get jobs, they could get credit lines, they could get loans, yada, yada, yada. Right. And with that, and technically 70 years because 1950s, birth control also came out, more contraceptions, Roe v. Wade, yada, yada, yada. What this did is, and Jordan Peterson's talked about this too, obviously, and I know that means people are immediately going to turn their brain off to it, but even people that you don't like have good points. And if you can't accept that, then you'll never learn in life. Sorry. And people that you like will have bad takes also. Can't forget the opposite. But the thing about that is, so essentially the sexual revolution, before there was no way of telling if a woman if a woman had multiple sexual partners, there was no way of telling who the father was. So men didn't want to be with promiscuous women. It's that simple. So now women can essentially have sex with whoever they want and not get pregnant. And now that the main thing that has kept them in monogamous relationships, and that's the threat of getting pregnant, is gone. Now that they can just have sex with whoever, that changes everything. But only on their end. It only changes it on the end of the women, right? Men's taste didn't change. Men didn't yada yada. Men didn't this. Men didn't that. But because of contraceptives, what women can do now changes, and now due to what women can do, also what they like changes. I talked to trans activists about the suicide rate. Yikes. Now what they do can change, and obviously as a result, what they like will change as well. The thing about it is, there's probably always been fuckboys because there's always been whores. There's always been super promiscuous women who will sleep around with whatever, right? But the problem is the super promiscuous women were a small subset, right? Let's say in a population of 10,000, you might have 100, maybe, right? I think 100 is egregious, but regardless. So now the thing is, fuckboys were allowed to exist because they were rewarded, right? Whatever you want to call them. Now the issue is that women probably generally, I would argue that women have probably always had a certain appeal towards the fuckboy because of something called the dark triad. I don't know a whole bunch about that, but they've always had a certain sort of appeal towards the fuckboy. But they know that they can't get a relationship out of the fuckboy, right? And they can't sit down, they can't settle down and marry him and make him have kids and stay with his family and take care of him, yada yada, right? But now they don't have to worry about that, right? So now more women can act. Hey, look for my comment. I basically said that at some point you gotta look in the mirror. Yo, yeah, no, I did see that. It was fire. I did see that. But shout out my boy Mike Coxlong. So now the fuck boys can get rewarded, right? And so now that women can be more promiscuous, and there are more promiscuous women, that means that the fuckboys are going to get rewarded more and more. That means the good guys will lose out, right? That's why I would argue that outside of the pure antisocial personality disorder motherfuckers, right? The people with actual psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism, the legitimate conditions, right? Outside of those men, I would argue that fuckboys are created, not made. Like, it is a nurture versus nature moment. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of dudes who I know that personally, and you can call this anecdotal, I'll accept that, but a lot of dudes who I know personally that were fuckboys, they were nice guys when they were younger, right? But the thing about men, like I said earlier, when I was talking about the video with the dumb blonde bitch, the thing is, I'd argue that a lot of fuckboys were good guys at one point, right? But men are problem oriented. We like solving our problems. So if a dude is a nice guy and he gets his heart broken over and over and over and over, right? Some guys, maybe even most guys, will keep just getting their heart broken and just keep getting played and just keep trying, right? Not all of them. Some of them will say, you know what, I'm tired of getting fucked over. I'm tired of getting screwed. I'm tired of losing. So you know what I'm gonna do? Fuck this shit, right? I'm gonna be a fuckboy. And so now you've added more fuckboys to the equation, right? So now we have more fuckboys to fuck over more women. And more girls, like females, like minors or whatever. Because, you know, I watched a video about a 10-year-old like having sex or whatever. I watched a clip with Matthew Lillard saying the exact same thing. I don't know who that is. Yes, I do actually. That's Scooby-Doo. I mean, that's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Yes, I do know who that is. But, and so the reason why I would still blame, like, sure, you can just say, oh yeah, the guys just shouldn't be fuckboys. It's like, okay, but like logically, I know these people don't think with logic, but logically, right? If I am a hard worker and I see the dude who's not putting in as much work, or maybe even a different kind of work, is getting paid more, why the fuck would I not do what he's doing? Right? Why would I sit here and keep putting in more work to not even get paid the same, but get paid less and not get the reward that I want out of it? Right? I can't get a relationship. I can't get laid. Not me personally. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, but, you know, speaking in, you know, hypothetically. Why would I do that to myself? And he's like, most smart men wouldn't, right? That's why men are dating less and less. Not because men can't get women, but because men, I believe that men as a whole, the ones that aren't already taken, are just tired of women's bullshit. You know, it's tired of having to sift through the garbage to try to find a diamond. It's tiresome. You know what I mean? I did it for a year. And I don't ever want to do that shit again. That shit was awful. You know what I mean? But let's keep going.
It's like one of the biggest problems.
I would never blame all women. Who has changed? What has changed in society, especially? I would make the argument that men's taste have
by
been,
the way, side note, I also blame rom-coms and Disney movies.
pretty much the same since forever.
Facts.
And that men generally more or less have been the same.
Facts.
Now, the issue that I have that comes into play is the thing that has changed is women's roles, women's feelings, women's preferences, yada yada. And unfortunately, some of those changes, maybe even most
I meant to say fortunately some of those changes.
are positive. But the ones that are negative are really glaring and really stare you in the face.
Facts.
For example, the rise of fuckboys. Fuckboys can't exist if women don't sleep with them. And your quote-unquote nice guy, well, they just lose out. Fuckboys couldn't prosper before because we didn't have birth.
All right, looks like I got that one done.